Welcome to everybody's favorite segment of the show, Wild Wild West. The
Beast.
first topic is another thing we got to kind of put our hands up and say we might have been a little bit of assholes about this. Bruce Cassidy, he has the Golden Knights 11-2. He's doing pretty good over there. I don't think his message must be getting across. So I think another little hand up when I was like, wait till you see what it's like playing for Bruce. Guess what? Playing for Bruce was pretty good in Boston too. And Bergeron went out of his way to compliment Bruce again for like the 8th time in the last 3 months. Obviously, not all the players had problems with Bruce. And as much as he is kind of a hard coach, I think, and a hard-nosed coach in ways, that team in Vegas needed to get their shit together and build a culture. And I do think he's a good guy to do that.
Absolutely. And obviously Cassidy is a great defensive system coach, which obviously is what the Vegas Golden Knights needed the most recently, especially with their goaltending woes. But the thing for me in Vegas is Bruce Cassidy finally got one of the talented centers that eluded him in Boston, in Jack Eichel.
He got Jack, and he wanted Jack for a long time.
And he is ripping it up in Vegas right now. He's doing very, very well.
Yeah, 14 points, 13 games, over a point per game, 5 goals, 9 assists, but he's plus 10. It's big.
They have a lot of talent in Vegas. The Riley, Marchessault, and Carlson line. You've got Jack Eichel with Mark Stone. Chandler Stevenson's there. Shea Theodore, Alec Martinez, Alex Pietrangelo,
Nick Roy, William Carrier. Want to know who? Mark my words. Phil Kessel, 5 points, 1 goal, -2 in 13 games. Kessel's Ironman streak gets ended by Bruce Cassidy this year. I'm telling you it does. If he doesn't pick it up, Phil is not Bruce's style of player.
See, I will say no. I don't think that'll happen.
Because you think he respects veterans?
Nope. I think that when people are in this scenario, like if you look at what happened to Keith Yandel, before they sign a contract with a new team,
I know
there's some guarantees in place. And I bet you that Vegas went to him and said, you will play in every game. We will make sure of it. Don't worry about it.
I do believe that those things do exist. I wonder if he's in that situation, but we'll find out.
And I mean, that's like a completely different debate, in itself. Like, are these Iron Man streaks like truly legit, or are coaches choosing not to sit them when they typically would strictly because of the streak and carrying it on?
I think they're legit in regard to just staying healthy. It's freaking crazy to stay healthy that long in this league. It's insane.
Let me ask you this question. Now, the Bruins have a player who recently has been scratched, but has been considered, a middle 6 player on the team since he's arrived, in Craig Smith. He's been
his whole career
healthy scratched twice recently. If that were Phil Kessel, do you think that they still would have benched Craig Smith in the midst of an Iron Man streak like that?
No, Monty's too much of a player's coach. No. Agreed, no. So I know. Did we underestimate the Vegas Golden Knights? 100% we did. We all did. We were like, they're going to suck. They're not good. Bruce is going to mess. No, we're wrong. They're good. They're going to be good. They're good in their playoff team.
I had them in my playoff picture, but I never expected them to be this dominant. That's for sure. Especially with Robin Leonard being out until, potentially playoffs. That's a kind of a big whack.
You know what teams really surprised me out west? A team that I still think's a joke, and I think the organization's a dumpster fire, but I'm a big fan of their GM personally. The Coyotes. The Coyotes have 4 wins, 6 losses. They beat some good teams, including last night.
Dude, they're better than St. Louis.
They're dealing with the adversity, and it's bringing them together.
I mean, you kind of look a little north there in the Central Division. You've got another one in the Chicago Blackhawks who are in the same boat.
Yep.
They are
playing 500 hockey.
They are galvanizing around Luke Richardson and some of these players on that team, and they're making it work. I mean,
know.
all these teams that we're expecting to be garbage, like, let's be honest, people, these are NHL caliber players on their roster.
They don't suck as bad as we thought they were going to. And that's,
yeah, like you're not playing an AHL team.
Yeah, I think we were wrong in a lot of the ways when we were doing our early season stuff. Kind of like, yeah, these guys have no shot, and like they definitely like they're doing better. They are NHL teams. The Coyotes are kind of like NHL light, but they are an NHL team.
I mean, you've got NHL Super Star, All-Star,
Nick Ritchie,
first team, All-American Nick Ritchie, baby.
Yeah, Nick Ritchie,
baby Gap, as Andrew likes to call him.
And there he goes. I mean, it's interesting. It really is. They have a long way to go, right? They have a long way to go before they're a competitive NHL team, but they're doing the right things. So hard to argue it. One team that's been super surprising too out west is the Seattle Kraken. There's 7 wins, 4 losses, 2 overtime losses. They're very well in the playoff picture. They could make the playoffs. I don't know that they do, but they could. The biggest thing, though, is they're not being led by Canadian rookie Shane Wright. He's getting scratched left, right, and sideways. How many points does Wright have this year? 7 games, 1 assist. That's tough. Yeah, he is plus 4.
Yeah. He's getting like 12 minutes of ice time, too, a game.
It's just...
He was getting 12 minutes of ice time? Last time I had checked, it was like 7, 8.
Last game I looked at, he had like...
That could have changed recently after the stretch of
I'm
scratches.
not sure.
I don't know, but... I know that the topic was that his ice time was like in the single digits, and then they started scratching.
Yeah, no, Kev, you must just look at the last. Yeah, no. So November 5th, yesterday, he got 8 minutes. But yeah, the third when you looked, Kev, he got 13:45. Before that, it was like 5:86.
Ooh.
But yeah, he did get 13 one night. I mean, he's been a plus player in his last 3 games. Here's the deal with Shane Wright. They're not going to send him back to the Kingston Frontenacs. And at least I don't think. They can't send him down to the AHL due to the junior players rule they have set with the CHL.
Well, they could.
No, they can't.
They can on a conditioning stint. They can send him to play in the AHL for a specific period of time.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that either. What I do think they're going to do is keep him all year, play him sparingly, send him to World Juniors, see if he can catch some fire at World Juniors, and then give him a chance to come back and play. I think there's a very good chance we see that happen.
And I think that is absolutely dumb.
Yeah, no, me too. But I think that's what they're going to do. Because if he gets hurt, it's like, oh my God. But
because if he goes back to the Frontenacs,
he's getting traded right away. Right away, he's getting traded.
Yeah. So I forgot where I read this. Or maybe I heard it in a podcast or somewhere, but apologies. I can't remember where it was. Talked about him going back to the Frontenacs and probably being traded right away to a team who is in the playoff, like the cup contention, because the Frontenacs are up to potentially hold the Memorial Cup next year. And the package of prospects and picks that they could get for Shane Wright
would be huge
and put them in much better place to have a good team for when they host the cup, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to draft somebody in the top 5 and put him on your team to rot.
I bet you him and his agent just don't have any interest in that. But then again, like, I just don't. It just makes no sense. Like, why are you not going to play him? That's where I just have so much trouble with.
Yeah, like, I mean, shit. Look at the player picked right before him, Logan Cooley.
Minnesota.
He already got sent down.
Like, he didn't even make the team, did he? I don't think he made the team.
No. But that's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't, try to pull this charade or facade, whatever.
Facade would be the word. Charade would be a name of a person. It's fine. It can't be only me who makes mistakes talking. But the only guy who looks like he's making an NHL impact out of those top 4 guys is Slafkovsky. Right? He's the only one who's playing. Minimal. He got hurt last night. Yeah, no, it's minimal. No, I know. I still think this is a really strong draft. I do. I mean, it's just going to take time. Like, none of these guys are ready to make NHL impacts right away. And Shane Wright, the poor kid, has barely played hockey. He lost hockey to COVID. Now he's not playing now. It sucks. Like it sucks. You got to feel bad because he's super talented. And I do think he's a future franchise player. I really do. So you got to let him develop the right way. And this ain't it. I don't know what's
Speaking
right,
of some of these prospects, just my phone started blowing up from Twitter notifications of Cap Friendly lighting up all of these transactions for these young players getting sent to the minors now that 10-game cap is hit.
Yeah. Oh, anyone big get sent down?
The list that we have so far is Colorado sent 2 people down, Martin Kaut and Mikhail Maltsev. The New York Islanders sent down Robin Salo, and Ottawa sent down Jacob Bernard Docker. So Bernard Docker is probably the biggest name there.
Yeah, I just think that going back to Wright, it's just he needs to find his way. And if you're committed to him being on your team, then play him. You got to play him. And if not, then you got to figure out what you're going to do and figure it out fast. But I really think there's a chance he goes to World Juniors. I really do.
Which, great. But, what are you going to expect him to do at World Juniors when he's played 5 games in the last month?
They'll probably go to the World Junior camp. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like.
To develop,
it's mismanagement. Play. This is mismanagement. It's that simple. He's been mismanaged so far.
Yeah.
There's no way to put it.
It's whatever. It's kind of disappointing, but it seems like Shane Wright's just taking the punches. He drops from 1 to 4 in the draft. Yeah. Now he can't get any games in.
He seems like a good kid too. That's what sucks. It's like and he's super talented. So they do have 2 young guys who are lighting up. Morgan Geekie, 7 points in 10 games, and Beniers 9 and 13 is pretty good.
Matty Beniers is doing pretty well.
Yeah, and so is Geekie though. Morgan Geekie's underrated big boy who can play the game, dude.
Yeah,
I'm a big Morgan Geekie fan.
Matty Beniers, I'll ride high on in Seattle. The other ones, let's see, because there's still going to be a lot of turnover on this roster.
Yeah, as they try to maybe make a little push. If they keep winning, they're going to try to make a push, I would think. So
they'll try.
Yeah, don't know. They're not going to make a long-term push, but a long-term push. Yeah, they're not going to make a push for the Stanley Cup this year. That I know.
Yeah. So now that we're kind of slimming out on topics, I threw a question on the sheet.
Yeah, I was just reading it.
I believe it was actually from 32 Thoughts, or it was from Frank Sarvalli, somebody. No. I did a lot of podcast listening this week.
Me too.
So I got caught up on a lot of things. And one of the topics that was talked about is teams and trading players and their cap hit. So, Kevin, I want to get your reaction first because I think you're probably the only one who hasn't heard this conversation yet. In the NHL, there are some people who are proposing that, and I will give an example. Say the Boston Bruins go and make a trade with the Chicago Blackhawks, and they trade Nick Foligno to the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for future considerations, right? Or they give them, Nick Foligno and a 3rd-round pick. The catch is you trade 50% of Foligno's contract to Chicago,
you keep the player.
But you keep the player. So allowing NHL teams to trade cap hits away, just the money, but still retain the player.
Be like, hey, we'll give you $1.2 million in Nick Foligno's contract for a 2nd-round pick. I think absolutely not, because it just creates a whole nother layer of bad things that can go on. And teams at the dumpster fire teams will just be like taking on cap and trading. I hate it.
But you would still have a limit. Like, you can only retain, I think it's 2 or 3 contracts.
If you trade a player, the player has to go. I really feel that. Anything to do with the player. It just makes it so that these NHL teams can write willy-nilly ass contracts and get out of them. And I think you need to be a good GM. You need to manage your money and your players and your assets correctly.
Yeah. So I'm going to I lean both ways. Like, you see the pros, you see the cons, but I'm going to take it. It's like, that takes the whole skill of being a GM out of it and building the team the right way and building contenders.
It's just another way out of that.
So there are 0 talented NFL general managers.
No, I get no,
because they can just cut people willy-nilly. And if it's not guaranteed, it's done.
Yeah, exactly.
But NHL
different.
contracts are fully guaranteed. So, like, the NHL system obviously is built against the team and the general manager.
I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like the ability to trade cap hits. I don't know.
I think it would make it more hoopla and wild and exciting, kind of like,
be more
the
movement.
NBA.
But the only, like, it's cool till, like, a team like the Maple Leafs trades their first round pick for like $9 million in cap, and then they're out of cap hell, and like, we don't want that. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. It's hard for me to, like. I just don't.
I mean, you can do it now, but you lose the player.
Yeah, you lose the player. That's right. I want you to lose the asset.
I don't know. Like, some of these trades don't happen in that scenario. Like, for example, the Max Pacioretty and the Brent Burns trade.
Yeah.
They probably don't happen if they could, sell off 50% of the contract to another team instead.
I don't know. I know Elliot and Jeff were really against it, and that makes me feel like I should be against it too because they know more than me.
I just feel like it would add some more excitement.
Yeah, it adds another layer
that
to the
needs
onion.
some more excitement and some more fanfare and eyeballs on the game. I think that it's a creative way to accomplish that.
Or just have the cap keep going up so that people have the money to spend.
I mean, that is
another way to fix that. So
I personally would rather them do a luxury tax, kind of like baseball.
So you can go over the cap.
Yep.
Yeah. It'd help the Bruins, help the rich teams.
Exactly.
That I wouldn't mind.
But the Bruins wouldn't overspend.
No, because they're
cheap.
Good way to put it. Lucky Duckies. Do we have anything? Do you have any bets, Kev, or no? I don't really have any hockey bets this week. I think because we're recording on Sunday, so we're not going to give out football picks. Maybe we'll tweet out a couple picks this week. We'll try to. We'll tweet out some picks for Wednesday, Thursday. Kevin and I will be together, so we'll definitely fire that out. Other than that, guys, go to Inside the Rink. Check out Kevin's going to be writing a really interesting article coming up this week about some Norris candidates within the Bruins organization, maybe a couple others. I'm excited to read that. We're going to be coming out with some new fresh merch soon for the holiday season, so keep your eyes peeled. And also, I want to give a little shout out to Sophia. She's been crushing it on our social media, and you have to check out these graphics that she's been coming up with. They're awesome. So give us a follow at Q the Duck Boats with a Z on Twitter. Trying to get Q the Duck Boats regularly. I'm trying to get us the regular without the Z, but who knows? The man won't answer me. Did that make any sense? You guys get it? I'm saying.
I know what you're putting down.
Q the Duck Boats
about it.
without a Z is owned by some random man who hasn't tweeted since 2009. So I reached out to him on the Facebooks to try to buy that Twitter handle from him, but he hasn't answered. So please buy our merch and help us out. And have a good week, guys. That's really all I got for us.